And we welcome you back to the Sportsbook here in North Charleston, the Sportsbook of Charleston, for the Coaches Show with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Conroy, as we talk Citadel basketball here this evening as your lead-in and pregame to the College Football National Championship game. It'll be maybe a quicker show this evening, but plenty to pack in as we'll talk Citadel basketball. We'll catch up with a member of the basketball team, one of the assistant coaches as well, and of course the head coach, Coach Conroy, who's with us. Coach, good evening. How are you?
I'm great. Good to be here, and thrilled to be talking about Citadel basketball on a night that there was a little excitement in the place with the College Football Championship.
Yeah, certainly. So it's a lively environment and a fun night here at the Sportsbook of Charleston, located in North Charleston, and we got the perfect lead into that national championship game by talking some Citadel basketball here for the next 30 to 40 minutes, leading right up until kickoff a little bit later on. Coach, let's dive right in because we got a lot to get to here this evening, and the team right now 1-3 to begin conference play. You're back home this week for 2 conference games this week. 4 games in, we haven't done one of these in a while, so kind of just a state of the union here. 4 games into the conference schedule. How have you assessed things, or how do you assess things currently of how your team's played as we've entered Southern Conference play?
Well, you know, at the end, when you look back at these 4 games, I mean, my overall feeling is just excited about, what this team can accomplish. The next 14 league games and conference tournament, it's going to be exciting. One of the things I love about our league is that it is a true round robin. Everybody plays each other twice. With the big mega leagues these days, it's hard to get that. Everybody has an unbalanced schedule, and I think it hurts rivalries. And quite frankly, I think it hurts a team like us if we were in one of those leagues where you're growing, you're learning. You have a lot of new guys that might not have familiarity with some of these programs, but yet now we know all 4 of these teams. We're going to get a chance to see them again, and I think that just keeps your guys. If you're a competitor, I think you like that. I think it lends itself to good practices as you get ready for those things, and that's how rivalries develop and how competitors grow because they get familiarity and they get a chance, and it just, like I said, it gets those competitive juices flowing. So I don't like the fact that we're 1-3, but I like how our team is coming together. I'm very encouraged by what we can do going forward. I love how some of our young guys are progressing, and even our older guys, whether it's Stephen Clark or Austin Ash or some of those guys. I think they're finding new levels in their game, and I think it's going to be exciting coming into the rest of this month and all of February.
You opened up with the win against Chattanooga, and then the losses to Sanford, Furman, and Wofford, the last 2 there on the road. The 1-3 record, as you mentioned. When you look back at those games, I know you and I have talked in the pregame interviews about the quick starts. You're trying to get off to a quick start. But when you look back at the first 4 conference games, or maybe the most recent 3 games, what stands out most about your team's performance, and maybe a trend, if you will, that aligns those 3 games, those 3 losses most recently together?
Well, I think anybody who's watched this play, you can certainly see some consistent things that we need to improve on. We have to get off to better starts. In the last 5 games, I think we've averaged being down 7 or 8 points at halftime. That's not acceptable, but we're getting better at that, I believe. Even though last game we got up to a really tough start at Wofford those first few minutes, I thought we played extremely hard on the defense the rest of that first half to give ourselves a chance in the second half. Because of our fight, because of our determination and competitiveness, we always come back in that second half and put ourselves in a position with 5 or 6, 7 minutes to go where we can win that game, where it's a tie game or we have the lead. And that's really encouraging. We just need to not dig that hole early on. We need to do a better job on the backboard, rebounding. I think that's getting better each and every game. We continue to take good care of the basketball. That's going to give us a chance in games. Other than the one game against Sanford, we've been shooting the free throw. Furman. We've shot the ball from the free throw line very, very well. So there's some elements there that I think we can, as we pull it all together, I think we can be a really tough and competitive team going forward. But obviously we have to improve on those things and have a sense of urgency about doing it because it's not acceptable. You have to find a way to get off to good starts and match the speed of the game coming out of the gates, and you have to be able to be physically able to compete on the backboard.
First year back here at the Citadel. Now we're about 16 games in, as you mentioned, the 4 games into conference play. It's not all doom and gloom. As you said, the team's done a lot of good things this year. You guys have played good basketball. So as we sit here today and you look back, what are some of the things you like most that you've seen from your team as we sit here on January 9th right now?
Well, we said from day one we were going to be a program about player development and wanted to be as good a teaching program as there was anywhere in the world. And when you see guys like Stephen Clark, finding completely new levels in his game. And I think he even did. I think he took I told the guys at practice today what we witnessed at Furman, at Wofford our last game, and the way he was working in that low post to go along with all the things he's done so far this year, from driving from the perimeter and making threes. I think his best month and a half of basketball is sitting right in front of us. It's going to be exciting to watch him down the stretch and see how our guys work with him. And then you have guys like Austin Ash and Elijah Morgan, who are older, but they didn't play a lot in their careers. And to see them, Austin's one of the nation's leaders in minutes played. Mm-hmm. He's one of the nation's leaders in three-point shooting. Yep. Those guys are doing more than they've ever done in their career, and that's exciting to watch. You see a guy like Dylan Engler, Jackson Price, guys that haven't maybe played much in their Citadel career, and they're starting to really contribute. And then, of course, our freshmen, from Durr to Smith to McAllister to Carpio, those guys are doing a lot of encouraging things. So I don't know if I missed anybody there, but it just seems like everybody in our program is developing as a basketball player, and that's a really exciting thing for me as a coach and a teacher.
We'll catch up with one of those freshmen, Madison Durr, also assistant coach Chris Hill. But before we let you go for the time being, Coach, we talk a lot about conference play. You mentioned it earlier, that familiarity, being able to play these teams twice. A lot of times you see in the NFL the divisional games much closer because you know that team so well. How have things changed 4 games in? How are these games different, if at all, from a coaching perspective, from just even going out there playing the games? How are the conference games different compared to the first portion of the season?
I think at this point, not only are you going into conference play where there's a little bit more familiarity from a regional and recruiting and guys that played AAU with each other growing up, there's just so many more factors where there is a familiarity and a feel to what the games are. But you're also halfway through your season, and so you've worked out some of the kinks. You've pretty much settled on a rotation. You've found somewhat of an identity against the non-conference teams you played. And so. Yeah, teams are starting to play really good basketball, and most teams, by the time you get to February, as long as they're healthy and have adequate rest before that game, they're going to be a tough out. Division I college basketball, 363 teams competing at this level, and it's as balanced as any sport there is anywhere. And I tell our guys all the time, it is. It's almost like 363 teams in the NFL. Like it's just a balance that you just cannot match anywhere else, and you have to be ready to go every night.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bulldogs are back home this week. ETSU comes into town Wednesday night, and then Saturday afternoon, Western Carolina will be at the McAllister Fieldhouse. Get your tickets now online. Come out and join us this week for some Southern Conference basketball. We're taking you right up until kickoff this evening of the National Championship game. It's the Coach's Show here with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Conroy. Got a couple of guests that will join us as well coming up when we return. It's the Coach's Show here from the Sportsbook of Charleston in North Charleston. The Coach's Show brought to you by Cutwater Spirits. We'll come back with more after this here all across the Citadel Sports Network. Back on the Coaches Show here from the Sportsbook of Charleston in North Charleston, talking Citadel basketball as we take you right up until kickoff this evening of the National Championship game. Coaches Show brought to you by Cutwater Spirits, and we're joined now by one of the members of the coaching staff for the Citadel basketball program. Assistant coach Chris Hill is with us now. Coach, good evening. How are you?
No, I'm doing well. I can't complain.
Hey, appreciate you coming out and joining us, coming on air with us as well. First year here at the Citadel, like this entire new coaching staff. Just so far, how have you liked being in Charleston and working with the Bulldogs so far this year?
Well, the one thing I can point out is I'm loving this weather.
Yeah, of course.
Being born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, working for the last couple of years in Wisconsin, this weather is beautiful. So I'm loving it. Great opportunity to learn from a head coach that's been a ton of places, a lot of head coaching experience, and a lot of Power 5 schools as well. So I'm loving the job.
What was it about this opportunity, other than maybe the weather, that brought you here originally to Charleston and the Citadel?
The opportunity to grow as a coach, to help the Citadel program get back to where Coach had it last time he was here. To be a part of that, I think it'd be something special. I think the national attention we could bring to the Citadel, the military academy, on the men's basketball side would be, just it's a beautiful thing, I think, for college basketball. So to be a part of that, to see it grow, and in the beginning, I think, who wouldn't want to be a part of it?
Yeah, certainly. And you bring an interesting perspective because you had a great playing career yourself. You played Division I basketball. You played professionally overseas as well. Let's talk about you, the player, for a moment. Going back to when you played for Bruce Pearl, right? And went to the NCAA tournament back in your playing days?
Yeah. So I have an interesting kind of story. I was recruited by Bo Ryan. Mm-hmm. He took the job at Wisconsin before I got there on campus, and I ended up playing for Bruce and finished out my career with Rob Jeter. Mm-hmm. And that's how my connection with Coach Conroy. I played and worked with his brother Michael Duffy Conroy, who's at Tulsa now. So just a little bit about my coach, the coaches I played for.
Yeah.
But I played for Bruce. Was a starting point guard. Came in, we helped build that program, helped to get to their first ever NCAA tournament, and I've actually been a part of every NCAA tournament team at UWM, either as a player or a coach.
Oh wow! Yeah, how about that? That's a pretty good list, too. Bo Ryan and then Bruce Pearl. Not bad to have on your list there of guys that you played for or were recruited by. And then after playing there, you played professionally in, a few different countries, right? Yeah,
so I played my first year was in Romania, went to Lithuania, and finished up in Ukraine for 2 years. So It was a great experience. Played at a very high level. Ukraine is probably the highest level I played at over there. We had guys like Khalid El-Amin was in that league. P.J. Tucker before he went to the NBA, and the little point guard that plays for the Lakers. He's from Chicago. He went to Marshall High School. He does a lot of talking. Big-time defensive guy. You might know his name. A little trivia for you.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah. Played at Arkansas.
Oh, man. I should know.
He was at Minnesota last year. He's starting over Russell Westbrook right now.
Oh, no, I don't know. Help me out.
I'm going blank too.
Oh, I thought you were testing me.
No, I thought you were going to help me out.
No. Man, we're going to have to get Google on it.
Yeah, we'll get
Somebody ask Jeeves. Let us know. Now I'm just thinking about that instead of my next question. Of those places, by the way, El-Amin, I'm a Connecticut guy. I grew up a UConn fan, so you're speaking my language, playing against him. Of those places that you went, does one stand out? Did you have one that you liked even more where you were located playing?
Well, I would say, each place was great. Being a Chicago kid, it was outside of something I was used to. Never had traveled outside the country. So I got my passport, went overseas, and I think I just appreciated everybody's culture. To be entrenched in somebody else's culture was something that was different for me. So I, learned some of the language, tried some of the new food. It was just a great experience. So I wouldn't rate any place over the other. But my first year I led the country in assists and averaged about 16, 17 points. So that was always nice.
Yeah,
but I had some great teammates from the countries, but also some American teammates that I met. And so probably as far as teammate-wise, Ukraine, my last year, I had a couple guys that were from New York that were really good guys, so I played with them.
Yeah, that's a great way, and I talked to you about this previously, but that's a great way to be able to see different parts of the country while playing basketball as well, which is obviously what you're passionate about, and get paid to do it. So it's such a cool thing for those that are able to accomplish such a thing as well. What was it, Patrick Beverly?
Patrick Beverly.
Really?
There you go. Yeah. So it's funny because we actually played for the same high school coach.
Oh, wow.
As well, and I went blank on his name. He's a Chicago guy. He's a Chicago West Side guy. Chicago West Side guys not big fans of us Chicago South Side guys, and so that's a connection with Coach as well. He's a Chicago South Side Blackhawks, Notre Dame Irish. So we got a connection there as well. So.
Before we let you go, circling it back to this Citadel team that you're part of this coaching staff as we talk with assistant coach Chris Hill. Conference play just beginning, 4 games in. You guys are home for a couple games this week. When you look at the squad you have this year, what do some things stand out? What do you like most about this group of guys that you've been able to work with this season here with the Citadel?
I think that the attitude that they came in with, us having a new staff, but Coach being here before and knowing what he has done here at the Citadel, I think the attitude that they came in with has just been infectious for us as a staff. I think the people that they're around, I would say that they're bought in, and they're just excited about just doing things the way we want to do them, the Citadel way, the Coach Conroy way. So I think that's probably the most exciting thing. The thing that stands out to me the most is those guys just being excited and buying into what we're going to do.
Lastly, what have you been your first impressions of the Southern Conference? I mean, this is a conference that has really improved in basketball the last couple of years. You've seen only a couple of the teams in person. Obviously, you guys are prepping for all these games, and you get to know these opponents very well. But your first year here at the Citadel Southern Conference play, what has stood out about so far what you've seen from elsewhere in the conference?
I think how good everybody is from top to bottom. I think some coaches would hate that because they're trying to get to the tournament and you don't want to get beat up throughout the conference. But I think that's the biggest thing that stands out to me. Coming from I played in the Horizon League. We had some teams at the bottom of that conference that weren't as competitive. But I think for this league from top to bottom, as you can see, we opened up. We beat Chattanooga. I think right there in the game with Sanford. We make some free throws. We were Furman, and so you go down the list. I think. Coaches are excited about that, having a tough league, but to see it from top to bottom, everybody every night in and out has a chance to win. So you can really hurt some teams' chances to get NCAA berth. But with that being said, I think we definitely have a chance that we can get these next 2. We can get back on track and compete in this league.
Yeah, certainly. Bulldogs are home for both this week, Wednesday night, Saturday afternoon. Come out and join us at the McAllister Fieldhouse. Southern Conference games. Conference games always fun in the SoCon for the Citadel. Coach, appreciate you taking some time out and joining us this evening.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine. Coach Chris Hill, assistant coach of the Bulldogs, who joins us here at the Coaches Show at the Sportsbook of Charleston in North Charleston. We'll come back. We'll put Madison Durr on the hot seat next. Talk more Citadel basketball here as the Coaches Show is brought to you by Cutwater Spirits. We're taking you right up to kickoff for the national championship game in college football. We'll come back with more after this here on the Citadel Sports Network.
I stumped you on that. Listen, I told
Back on the Coaches Show here from the Sportsbook of Charleston in North Charleston, talking Citadel basketball, doing so with a series of guests, including now freshman Madison Durr joining us. Before we get to Citadel basketball and your career in this season so far, Madison, we got to get the important stuff out of the way because we're going to be on the air leading right up until kickoff of the national championship game. You're from Georgia.
Of course.
I'm sure you're a big Georgia football fan?
Of course.
So what do you think about the national championship game tonight?
Georgia by 50.
50?
Nothing close.
We just saw Lee Corso pick TCU here on the TVs here, so hopefully Corso doesn't get this one right. We'll see. Georgia, TCU. Are you nervous, Georgia? Well, I mean, you think they're going to win by 50, so you must be pretty confident. So you looking forward to this game? Are you nervous about kickoff? How are you feeling right now?
I think we had our bad game. We don't know how to handle quarterbacks that can run. I don't see Max Duggan running all over the field today. Darnell Washington's playing. I think we have the best offense in America, and it's time to put it on display for the final time for Stetson Bennett's career.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll find out. That game kicks off in about 16 minutes, 7:42 kickoff time here. Great place to watch here, the Sportsbook of Charleston, and we're taking you right up until kickoff, talking Citadel basketball. All right, before we get to kickoff, let's talk about the basketball team this year. In your freshman season, you come here to the Citadel, and you've been playing well this year as a freshman. First, let's start at the beginning. What brought you to the Citadel here originally?
So I want the opportunity to go somewhere and not be used as a piece, but somewhere where I can utilize my full talents. Coach Conroy came and gave me the opportunity to be me as a freshman. Understanding that there will be lumps and curves that comes with it, but allowing me to fully figure out what I want to do with my game and how I can really use it to help impact winning at an early age instead of having to wait a long time to kind of like figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, and we saw that. I mean, first game of the year at Clemson, you get the start, you play really well, you go for double figures. What was that like to jump right into the college game and do so against an ACC team on the road like that with the Clemson Tigers?
So he told me when he recruited me that he was going to throw me in the fire the first game. I thought he was crazy, and we found out he wasn't. I think more so it was proving to myself that I'm good enough to play, and then more and more as we started to play, understand that not only am I good enough to play, I'm good enough to help impact winning, and winning is what I get judged by the end of the day, and that's what everybody looks forward to seeing.
Did you feel that confidence going in? Like, you know, not only to go out and play that well and score, but to be the point guard where you're running the offense as well. I mean, you're the floor general. You're probably the most important piece out there for what the team's trying to do. Were you nervous going into that game, or did you know, here's my opportunity to show I can perform, I can play against these ACC guys as well?
I don't think it was more so nerves. I think it was a little bit of butterflies. First time on a college court. You know, it's different from high school. The gym's a lot darker. Everything's focused on you.
Yep.
But I think coaches and my teammates throughout the fall, summer, and all that, and utilized me and allowed me to understand that you're good enough. We trust you with the offense and defense and all this stuff. So I think that was just that extra motivation to help me get to that point. So I think once I saw the first shot go in, it was like, okay, now we can settle down, and then we weren't able to come out with the win, but it taught me a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine so. And you've been having a good year as a freshman, which is, you know, hard to do to come out of high school. As you said, it's a different game, different arenas, different level of competition, and to play as well as you have. But with that said, I know athletes, coaches are never pleased. You're always working on something. So here to start your collegiate career, you're only 16 games into your career. What are some of the things you'd still like to improve upon and work on as you continue to grow here with the Citadel?
I think for the team aspect and my aspect of wanting to be a pro, I think I need to learn how to guard the ball better. I think it's just a different speed and always understanding that no matter what you try to do, there is no time to get a break off. And that's something that the coaches are always trying to tell me and let me know that no matter how tired you are, how easy it is to find, there's no way you can take a break. And I think offensive-wise, I think it's just something I need to understand how to utilize my teammates better to make myself better. Like it's easy for me to break down defender, but if Austin's not getting shots or Steven's not getting shots, then it's going to be 4 or 5 people waiting on me instead of just a one-on-one finish, which is something we work on every day. So I think just guarding the ball better and becoming more comfortable being uncomfortable, and then utilizing my teammates better, which I think I can do very well.
What have you liked most about being part of this team, whether it's from a basketball perspective, individual perspective, when you think of your teammates this year playing for the Citadel, even being here in Charleston, what stands out so far? Your first year in college, playing for the Citadel, what are some of the things that you've liked the most or have appreciated the most so far this year?
I think I appreciate the team aspect of just how we have so many different ages. We have older people married. We have a child on the team. We have the young freshman on the team. We have the middle 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, the transfers. I think just seeing every aspect of life come all together with different basketball experience and trying to put it all together as one to win games is just something that you can never find anywhere else. There is no someone's been here longer than somebody else. Everybody's new and trying to figure it out from the top all the way down. And I think being in the South in Charleston, close to home, not too far from the house, but not too close where they can just show up anytime they want, is something that you can't really ask for in such a beautiful place like Charleston.
Lastly, you guys are home for 2 games this week. Are you looking forward to getting back in front of the home crowd and playing at McAllister Fieldhouse this week?
Definitely. I think we know we went wrong the last 2 games, especially going on the road. We got off to slow starts, and that's something we need to really work on and emphasize to winning more games. But I think being back in front of our home crowd, we allow ourselves to get the energy rolling again, get back on the positive side in the 500, and then just allow us to carry us through the rest of conference play and then make our run for the tournament.
Well, Madison, appreciate the time. Best of luck to you and the team moving forward, and good luck to your Bulldogs tonight as well. Appreciate you joining us.
Bulldogs, thank you so much.
That's Madison Durr, freshman of the Citadel Bulldogs, joining us here on the Coaches Show. We'll come back to the Sports Book of North Charleston and wrap things up as we lead right into the National Championship game. Get ready for the Citadel returning home this week for 2 big conference games. Coaches Show brought to you by Cutwater Spirits. We'll wrap things up next here from the Sports Book of Charleston in North Charleston on the Coaches Show here all across the Citadel Sports Network. Perfect. Wrapping up the coaches show here tonight with head coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Conroy, leading right into the kickoff of the national championship game, which is coming up in about 7 minutes as we hang here at the Sportsbook of Charleston in North Charleston. The coaches show brought to you by Cutwater Spirits, and we'll be out here every Monday moving forward throughout the conference schedule talking Citadel basketball. Coach, before we go and get ready here in the building for the national title game tonight, ETSU coming into town Wednesday night, 7 o'clock tip-off. Western Carolina coming into town Saturday, 1 p.m. tip-off. Both games at the McAllister Fieldhouse. Get your tickets online. Come out and join us this week. But as we look ahead to these two important conference games this week, just number one, from a team perspective, first and foremost, what do you want to see from your guys this week here at home?
We'll keep improving on those things that we talked about it. And I think as we gain experience, our guys will be ready to get off to a quicker start. We need those fans like Bill and Elaine Shupp sitting in those seats in the front row ready to get us off to a great start. That and then the physicality on the boards. I think our young guys are starting to learn with our size and a little bit deficient in that area that all five guys need to rebound. Our guards need to rebound down, as we call it, and come down and put a body on somebody as well as the bigs. And then I really think that we're starting to find an identity on the offensive end. Everybody knows that Austin Ash and Stephen Clark have had fantastic years for offensively, but I think our other guys are ready to become more efficient as they learn how to play off of those guys. And I'd like to see that us have a homestand where we really establish that in those two games, those four halves in league play, where you can really start to see the identity of our ball movement, player movement, and getting that ball to multiple people on the blocks, let alone Stephen Clark, and then other people besides Austin stepping up and knocking down that three.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun this week. ETSU Wednesday night, Western Carolina Saturday. Come out and join us because these games are always big at home. And Coach, as you said, the crowds at home so far have been good for the Bulldogs.
Oh, they have been. And the fans who have been there have been tremendous. I'm excited that the core is back. The last time that they were able to attend a game was the College of Charleston, and the McAllister Maniacs were back in the house with their T-shirts. Cody Cutno and others have been working really hard on helping me get that started. So I can't wait. I want to see the core in there Wednesday night, and the McAllister Maniacs, and then that crowd that's been coming and supporting us. Our crowd against Chattanooga, over Christmas break, I believe on December 29th, that was terrific, and they were really into it and really helped us get over the hump in that game. So I'm excited about what we can do as we come into the January and February games and kind of reestablish McAllister as a tough place to play.
And we're looking forward to it. The Citadel will be home twice this week. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. against ETSU. Saturday, 1 p.m. against Western Carolina. Get your tickets and come out and join us at the McAllister Fieldhouse. Coach, appreciate you, and a member of your staff, Chris Hill, your freshman, Madison Durr, all coming out and joining us here tonight at the Sportsbook of Charleston, and looking forward to seeing you guys out there a couple of times here at home this week.
Looking forward to it, and can't wait to see everybody. Thanks.
Absolutely. Coach Conroy joining us here in the Coaches Show. Always appreciate his time. We got to run because the national championship game is about to kick off here at the Sportsbook of Charleston in North Charleston, but we'll be here every Monday moving forward for the rest of conference schedule for the Citadel. Come out and join us in person for the Coaches Show. Listen online, watch on YouTube as well. Coaches Show brought to you by Cutwater Spirits. Come out and join us this week, the Citadel and ETSU Wednesday night, 7 p.m., Western Carolina Saturday at 1. And we'll see you out here next Monday, 7 p.m. for the Coaches Show all across the Citadel Sports Network.